Namaste. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Buenos dias. Wizice. Aquaba. Welcome in. What up, though? This is Cafe Melange. Week numero cinco. Haha. Session numero uno. And it is the day dos of the week. So, session numero uno for this week. And I got some things to share. Before I do, though, I'm going to give two what is it called? Points, not points of order. Things that have to do with like the details of stuff. First is that this Wednesday, session numero tres, ain't no session numero tres. It is Yom Kippur. It is a day of atonement, but that prohibits work in the tradition of my people. So I abstain from doing a session numero tres for this week. So that's one bulletin item. That's one thing to note. The second thing to note is this. I actually sent out an email that gave an invite to the Zoom session. And with the link to it. So I think it should work. But as I set up today, the Zoom thing, I'm reminded, I think I only sent the invite to the general meeting place for Zoom, and I only set the Zoom settings to recur once a week on Tuesdays, specifically for the live stream, rather than Mondays through Thursdays. So I have to adjust that. And make it for Mondays through Thursdays, just so that it's open. The reason why I say that is because, again, today started after 2 p.m. If people are going to get online, first of all, if anybody shows up, that's like it's like a walk, a step of faith, a step of trust. And so I want to be mindful of that. But simultaneously, meanwhile, I'm working on a number of different things, and so I'm not always available spot on at 12 a.m. or 14 a.m. at 14 hour. So, like today, I started about quarter past the hour. So the thing is to share. How you doing? You all right? I'm doing all right. How you doing, bro? I got it today. So I know it's not the biggest thing for you, but that's what it is. This is where I'm at. Huh? This is where I'm at. So now you know. Unit number 10. All right. So I'm here at quarter past the hour. So the thing is to make. What's that? I told you I was gonna have it in my bag, so when I did, I'd have it. I missed you the first 2 times though. So the consideration is setting up the meeting so that the meeting is on and people can connect to the meeting whether they're on there or not. There's a setting that Zoom says whether attendees can start or get on the meeting even if I'm not there yet. And so I think I set it for that. So anyways, that's just minutia. That's little details. That ain't necessarily what I got to share. I got that to share, but that what I'm talking about. That what I'm not what I'm talking about. So here's what I'm talking about. Got a few things to share from recent combos. There's a joke, but I'm going to share the joke second. I'm going to share a story first. So the story is, yesterday, I was on the other side of the block where there's less vehicular traffic and additional pedestrian traffic. And there's stores and restaurants and stuff like that. So I set up like I'm set up here, though it's a little bit of a different routine. I don't have the photo, the video on me or whatever. I'm just sitting there sometimes I bring books. So, anyways, um, what I do is say hi to people like I do here. And that's where the person's right in front of me. I wave and say hi. If the person's across the street, if they make eye contact or look in my direction, I wave and say hi. So, with that in mind, yesterday, as I'm saying hi to people as they walk by and talking to people who stop and this and the other, I see some people across the street walking by, taking it, walking at a casual, carefree pace, kind of slower than normal, but relaxed. Um, so I see them approaching, and they get into like the zone of where to make eye contact. So I look, and as I look, I observe, and I observe the people. And so this particular group of people, the brethren, um, there's a couple, an elder couple, elder being older than myself, and it's an uncle and an auntie walking together, and there's a sister walking behind the two, and the group is of Asian ancestry, East Asian ancestry. And so this is a thing that's very common where I live, and it's distinctive because it's intergenerational. That's one thing, and it also culturally, ethnically, and observing this in previous occasions, as I do. The elder couple is in the front, and the child, the younger generation, is behind. And the elder male is a little bit ahead, like dictating where the group goes. And so I'm observing and just checking to see if they're going to look in my direction, just wave hi or whatever. And they casually walk, and there's some cars parked on the sidewalk, parked on the curb of the sidewalk. And so as they get to the zone of making eye contact, indeed they don't, and that's cool. And they continue on. So I just said, okay, interesting. And then as I'm looking at it, there's a brother who's of African ancestry, very tall, and got a backpack on, and he's a few yards behind him. And so as they get past that zone, I look towards him, and as he approaches the zone to see if he makes eye contact. And indeed he doesn't, and that's okay. And he continues on past the zone of making contact. Now there's still, I can still, like when they're right directly in front of me across the street, that's past the zone, the eye contact zone, because people on the street are kind of looking forward. So that's not for them to, I'm outside of their peripheral kind of vision when they're directly in front of me. So that's past the eye contact zone. So the Asian family passes me on the eye contact zone, and then the African brother passes me on the eye contact zone. But I can still see them as they're walking past. And again, they're taking a little bit of a leisurely pace. And so I continue scoping out the street. And as I do, they continue walking along. And they get to the curb to cross the street. And as they get to the curb, that's where the parked cars are stopped, because it's an intersection. And so as they get to that clearing, I see that indeed the elder couple have a toddler in tow, and they're holding hands with the toddler and walking at the pace that accommodates the toddler. Right? And so I said, oh, that's nice. And I think to myself, oh, the daughter, she's a mother. And then I think to myself, that's unusual, because when it's a family situation, usually the husband is right there with the mother. And so I think to myself, that's rather provocative. A single Asian mother with her family, but not with the husband, but with the child. That is atypical. Again, usually it's when the whole family is there, when the elders are there, usually the husband is there as well. So I just like, that's interesting, rather provocative. But it's not one way or the other. Just like, interesting. And she continues to walk by, and obviously it becomes increasingly obvious. It's an intergenerational family, 3 generations. And so, then I get called out, because then the young African brother with the backpack on, very tall, continues into that clearing as well. Again, just a few yards behind, and he has a stroller. He's pushing a stroller. That's not visible because of the parked cars before that. And I say, haha. And indeed, uh, there's the husband. There's the father. Haha. There's the missing link. There's the missing piece. There's the missing portion. Haha. And I got called out about my presumptions. So even mixed people can sleep. So anyways, I got called out. Now, who can I share that with? Right here. That's why I do it. At least for the first occasion. It was the first time I shared that story. So that was just yesterday. And that's that. So that's one anecdote from yesterday. Second deuxième anecdote is a joke. I'm trying to think where the third joint is at the moment. The second deuxième joint is a joke that is shared by a brother who stops by, I think it was actually on Friday. And he says, I share a joke. So he says, here's the joke that he shares. Somewhat of an adult joke, but it ain't dirty per se. And it'll explain itself as I intro it. So here it is. This is the joke. A masochist and a sadist have a conversation. And the masochist says, hurt me, hurt me, hurt me. And the sadist says, no. That's the joke. That's funny. It's particularly funny because it's benevolent. And it deals with nasty stuff, but it's benevolent. So that's the joke that the brother shares on Friday. Now the third joint, it was something specific. There was another story type joint. I can think of a number of things to share, but at the moment, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. What I will do though, in the meanwhile, whilst I struggle to recall, and see how many facial expressions I can make. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I'm pulling up a document to share some information. And I thought it would be right there at the recent documents that I opened up. For some reason, I should say, it's showing all these other documents that I opened up way before, way long time ago. And I'm wondering why that is. That's unusual. It is unusual to not show me what I'm looking for. That's it. And you're not even doing it. Wow, what is all this? Oh, maybe I was looking up stuff in the meanwhile. I don't know. How you doing? All right. There's a joke that I'm not privy to. All Alright, I have to do it a different way. And I'm concentrating on this, otherwise I would look into the nature of the humor. Intriguing. Alright, here it is. So basically what I'm showing at this moment is a list of news links. I mentioned before the consideration of sharing on Mondays. Oh, that's another note to share. Mondays, I mentioned beginning in a few weeks, being a day for sharing news links, of me just reading news of that pertains to Mélanger, and the global diaspora and our villages respectively. But when I look at like all the links that are on the list to visit, it's a lot, and it's probably going to easily take over an hour to do, maybe a couple hours. So that's a little bit longer than what this joint is intended to be at the moment. So I intend to record that on another session in another context and upload that in another context. But what I will do at the moment is just share what those links are, like the organizations for those links. So some of these are somebody is walking in the forest on the other side of the fence, which is unusual. So, some of these links are to organizations that have chapters in different. Actually, I'll say it like this. As I mentioned, these pertain to being Mélanger, our global Mélanger experience, and in the work that we do, we focus on in specific metropolitan areas, in certain cities, in building local centers, activity additionally. So the links pertain to endeavors and activities within those specific locations. So that's one thing. Now, some of these are specific to the city. I'll say the list of the cities, if I can think of it off rip. Shanghai, Bangkok, Mumbai, Jeddah, Kubenhavn, Roma, Yerushalayim, Addis Ababa, Accra. All right. All right. You too. Liberdade in Sao Paulo, in the land of the Guarani. Guadalajara, Santa Terra, in the land of the Mayan. Oleon, Berkeley, in the land of Paiute, in the Oleon. And here in the Cuyahoga area, UNI Village. The Potomac area, Washington, D.C. Singapore, Tokyo, Manchester. Hawaii, Honolulu. I think that is the majority. So, anyways, those are the major cities. If I see one that I'm safe from mentioning, I intend to include that. But I think that covers it. There's 20 cities in all. I think I named 20 in that. Thereabouts. So, what we're doing is watching, listening, connecting with activities within groups that are multicultural, that share a multicultural message and vibe, that are actually mélange, that are interfaith, or that have some type of proximity with this experience, and seeing what's going on within each of these locations, what the activities are, what the events are, what the experience of community is, what the experience of village is within each of these locations, and then as we connect with the organizations in these locations, be increasingly intuitive, informed, attentive to the interests, to what's already going on in these areas. So that's what much of the intentionality is, and so these are the groups that are included in the news links, to connect with. The Jain community and the links in respective local communities in the Jain diaspora. The Baha'i community, similarly, links within the respective areas. Native community here in the Western Hemisphere. This includes the Assembly of First Nations, the National Congress of American Indians, the Métis National Council, the American Indian Movement, the Indian Country News, the Indian Country Today, and additionally, Intertribal Friendship House, the Hawaiian Nation, and the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. Buenas tardes. Hi. And then also our mélange community, our mélange diaspora. I'll name the groups. Mélange Sangha with yours truly. Mixed People in Harmony, Intermixed, Critical Mixed Race Studies, Mixed Remixed, Hapa Mag, Mixed Roots Stories, Mixed in Canada, Midwest Mixed Conference, Nassau Mestiza, Loving Day, Colored Mentality, Multiracial Americans of Southern California, Bechol Lashon, 100% Mixed Show, Dream Studio 777, and Mixed Race Studies. Interfaith includes World Congress of Faiths, International Association for Religious Freedom, Parliament of World Religions, United Religions Initiative, Charter for Compassion, Interfaith Observer, North American Interfaith Network. Local organizations include Asana Ashram, Interreligious Organization, Interfaith Conference of Metropolitan Washington, Santa Gidio Eliyahu Interfaith Institute, Interfaith Encounter Association, Yerushalayim Peacemakers, Carpe Diem, Interfaith, Just International, All Believers Network. Multicultural organizations include Interracial Religious Circle, Singapore United, One People, Cleveland Council of World Affairs, Street Talk, South Africa. Vegan community in our respective locales. The International Cooperation Association, and particularly the co-op agencies within our respective locales. Fair Trade, includes Fair Trade International. For some reason, the World Fair Trade Organization is absent from this list. Maybe it's because they don't have a news thing, but I remember looking that up, so I have to look into that. It's lightweight, maybe. Amidst priorities. And then, here it is. So, Fair Trade, Fair for Life, and then Fair Trade, Eco Villages in our respective locales, and local periodicals that includes Heights Observer and City Paper, Amnesty International in our respective locales. So that's the list of links to look up. And again, it's a matter of looking at highlights or headlines, and if anything catches the eye, looking further into that. But like I said, that looking just even going through that list of the different links can be expected to be over an hour. So we plan to do it on a monthly basis in conjunction or as part of Rojak Rastam, which is our community journal. and that is scheduled to roll out, God willing, in a couple weeks from now with the new moon. So we are approaching the full moon at this moment. So that's where things are at this point. Rojak Rostam is intended to be shared. The phone went out. Oh no, it didn't. Is intended to be shared, but it did. But it didn't. On a upasadali basis, a bi-weekly basis. So what that means is that on the new moon is like the business edition, where these news links are shared, and there's a calendar. I give an editor's note, and things along those lines. So that's that part of it. Then on the the full moon basis, um, it is. The cultural and arts edition. So that includes music playlists of world music and hip hop, um, a film list for the week for the month, story sharing, highlighted stories, written and verbal. At this point, probably just doing one story because that takes a considerable amount of research to do something to make it valuable, to be worthwhile. So yeah, and then on a weekly basis, sharing most of the stuff that I already do. A weekly consideration with Sonar Ashram that I already do, that I've been doing for years, and then also a weekly inspiration. That's something new that I'm working on, and then a well ethos theme for the month, and then also well ethos theme for the week. So that's what I am working on. That's what we are working on this side. Um, so that's that. That's much what I have to share at the moment. So I said there's a third thing. It escapes me at the moment. What I just shared could be the third thing. That could stand for it. Hi. I'm thinking of something that I already shared before. Whether I should share it here. It has something to do specifically with melange. Well, I think we're going to leave it alone for the moment. So there it is. Namaste. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Legend. Adios. Take Jacaris. It's something that us will. Your local Fred. One love and peace.